New Zealand made history, beating the Wallabies in the final to become the first rugby nation to clinch back-to-back World Cup titles. Dan Carter won World Rugby Player of the Year, and the Springboks came home with the bronze medal. And Tank, I don't know if it was just me, but it seems to me like they're more than satisfied with being the team that came the closest to beating the All Blacks at the tournament.
Well, it depends who you define as they, Zelim. But yeah, it looks like our coach and perhaps our Minister of Sport and perhaps even Sari are okay with bronze. Me, not so much. And, there's a groundswell, I think, on social media, which is also less than impressed. So I think there's two things. One is our acceptance of mediocrity. How does that become the norm? That's unacceptable.
Yeah.
And then two, the game plan. Lots of people are now talking about that. I know you're the Grinch of rugby and you love astute kicking and a wall of defence, but rugby is evolving. Keep that.
Yeah.
As you point out, often the All Blacks kick the most out of any side in the world.
Yeah.
They just make it contestable or they make it work.
Yeah.
Plus they add an attacking string to their bow. And I think that's all we're asking for.
Yeah.
Just add some sort of flair to the bow.
Yeah. Well, Dan Carter kicked the most at the Rugby World Cup. I think only Andre Pollard kicked more than him, and he won World Rugby Player of the Year. So there is that tactical element to their game. Everybody's raving about this All Black side, saying they're the best team in the history of rugby. I'm not buying it. What are your thoughts?
Well, I may look like Methuselah, but I'm not that old, so yeah. I'm actually not sure what happened before I was born. I do think they are pretty damn special, though.
They're pretty good. They won 2 World Cups. But that 2005 All Black side would have cleaned up these guys. The 2007 Box would have given them a good run. Our old boys almost beat them. Come on.
I think they are really, really good. I think Dan Carter and Richie McCaw are probably the 2 best players to have graced the planet, and they play in the same side.
Sure.
Perhaps not at their peak right now. They're certainly McCaw has been better. Savea, Milner-Skudder, both their locks are Retallick and Whitelock are getting into the game. Centres, Nonu and Smith. It's just proper class.
Solid.
Contenders for best ever.
No, sure.
Best ever, perhaps not, but my oath. Without doubt, the best team at the tournament.
Yeah.
And glorious to see them win with ball in hand rugby.
Yeah, let's talk about the Box. Who's hot, who's not? Who are the guys that you thought did well at the tournament? Who let us down?
So I thought Meyer let us down.
Did he play?
and therefore, it's quite hard to blame the players. He stuck with his tried and trusted, and I'm not sure that was the best route forward. Excitingly, though, and as he has pointed out, is that there is some fantastic talent in that side. Harnessed correctly, I actually think we're on the brink of something special. It was awesome to see Malherbe come in as tight head. We've been calling it for a long time, but he grew into that position. And Yokani at Lucid proves that Beast is not, is expendable.
Yeah.
And then both locks were just exemplary.
Yeah.
Ed Smith was overplayed. Did he really need to play that last game? Lutejaga, who I would have left behind,
oops, amazing,
was incredible.
Yeah.
I think both centres were good with ball in hand, but still concerning with on defence. And then I suppose the people that the not so hot would be like a Victor Matfield. He had one awesome game where he owned the line out, but did he have as much of an impact as he was meant to have? Oh, sorry, the other one, Francois Lowe.
Yeah.
What
a
tournament.
I was going to say. Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
He was incredible. And then, given what we're expecting of Pollard and Leroux, probably also slightly disappointing. As we've said plenty of times on Think Tank, I'm in the Pollard camp, and I think he's the future of South African rugby. But, just that missed penalty kick and his missed pots at goal were concerning. And then Leroux just seems to be trying a little bit too much.
Those youngsters were all on the field when we lost to Japan for the first time ever. There's quite a nice, juicy column on the Vodacom Rugby.co.za website written by Dan Retief. Bit of a conspiracy theory about why we lost to Japan. Just your thoughts on...
Yeah, I must say, it was a great read from Dan. He broke his rule and he's publishing rumours. But, it kind of makes sense. The thinking is that the Box gave up the win in order to carry votes for the 2023 Rugby World Cup, but then also get the world interested in Japanese rugby, which it certainly did. I think it remains a conspiracy theory, and I'm not sure we'll get 2023 out of it, but it certainly was the talking point of the World Cup this year, and it made for a hell of an interesting tournament.
Absolutely. Well, that's it for this week, guys. Thanks very much for tuning in again and sticking with us throughout the World Cup. We'll be back in time for Super Rugby, and be sure to stay in touch with VodacomRugby.co.za for all the latest in rugby. Until then, ciao.